breaking news, and you can see me from this car. Breaking news from LA, and it is about the Matthew Stafford situation, as the Rams and Matthew Stafford had agreed to reconstruct his deal to remain in LA. So, how did this happen? Well, it all started with the Rams did give Matthew Stafford's agent permission to seek with other teams about trading for Matthew Stafford, who has 2 years left in his contract. The two teams that were interesting were the Raiders and the Giants. So, that would be one of those two. Then, a few hours ago, the Rams were going to meet Matthew Stafford in the facility and see how this will go out to be. Now it's officially happening. Matthew Stafford and the Rams have agreed to reconstruct his deal to remain with the Rams. So, what does this mean for the Raiders and the Giants? Let's start with the Raiders. Of course, mandatory owner with Tom Brady, of course, who was trying to get Matthew Stafford to join the Raiders. But there are two options. One, they can go to the draft, of course, and try to trade up with that number one pick to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Or they go to the free agency market and look at quarterback options. You look at guys like Sam Darnold, of course, Jameis Winston. There's some other quarterbacks they can look at. But minorly for me, I think you go to the draft process, of course. And tomorrow is quarterbacks in the scouting combine, so you can expect them to look at these other quarterbacks. Of course, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders will not be throwing, but maybe expect them to go to the pro days in Colorado and Miami to see Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders and see if one of those two are the better options in order for them to trade up for that number one pick. Meanwhile, for the Giants. So, the Giants were the favorites to land Matthew Stafford if he were to trade to another team. What is next? Well, I am told that Giants are now shifting to Aaron Rodgers, the Jets quarterback, of course, and former Packers quarterback, is in the market. Now, the Giants are looking to get Aaron Rodgers, of course, to the Giants, which it would be a very interesting move for the Giants. Of course, they did miss out Matthew Stafford, but there is a chance you can go after a guy who has played for a long time in Green Bay, and he spent only 2 seasons with the Jets, and now it could maybe potential try to make the move to get Aaron Rodgers. Now, their other two options are, of course, I already mentioned with the Raiders, draft and free agency. And if those two don't work, expect them to make the biggest trade for Aaron Rodgers. That's all I got for you guys. If you have not seen my NFL Scouting Combine preview video, of course, the defensive backs and tight ends, which will start today at 3 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Go ahead and check that video out. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news. And yes, you can see me sweating because I haven't turned this car yet, but I'm on my way to get ready for our preview video for quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers later on. But again, the big news today, Matthew Stafford and the Rams have agreed to reconstruct his deal to remain with the Rams.